Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Taalib Abdur Rahim Pugh, aka Theodore Pugh Jr. of the senior of Theodore Pugh, son of Theodore Pugh Sr. Good evening. At this time, being inspired by the likes of the things that have been transpiring, the negatives and the positives. Of course, unfortunately, in these times that we are living in, there's much more negative than positive out there, and because of that I have been inspired to do this video, which is a commentary, and it would probably be more than just this video. It would probably be 2 to 3 videos based on this subject matter, which is very important and something that we should all hold in our lives every day of our lives. But before I start, I would like to open up, as we do as Muslims. If you don't already know, I happen to be Muslim, and it is the faith of Islam that I am within every day of my life, which is considered a life in a living way of life, not just some religion or religion of terrorism and all the likes of what has been promoted in a misconception, and also purposely, put in a position of defamation, to defame the faith. So, hoping in the same with what I'm bringing, that this video would bring and promote the positive of Islam, because this is from Islam. That which I'm bringing this from is from an Islamic scholar in his book. The name of the book is called Patience and Gratitude by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah, rahimahullah, and he was born in 1292 CE and died 1350 CE. So, as we go, Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajma'in. Amma ba'd, excuse me. First, I would like to get on the note of the translator's introduction, which is very important, and it kind of opens up to the book. But I'm not going to be, going and reading through the whole book. I do not have time to do this, and that would be extensive amounts of video footage to do. But I'm going to just do parts and pieces of which would probably be very important and have some deep relation to what people are going through today. Because this video is a commentary not just for to speak, it's a commentary to help and benefit other people that you may listen to it, and you may get from it and take from it, inshallah. The first part, it says, we live in an era of overwhelming Western influence where 2 major ideas are upheld and promoted. And I say this to say, not because I'm anti-Western, but to say that the reality and the facts that are put out there of the promoting of Western society and secular society in the name of democracy, and the likes of what comes forth with it, with the free, so-called free living of the people just freely doing what they want to do and not really having any care, which is very similar to the likes of a society known as anarchism. But this society hasn't gone that far because there's still laws in place to not allow that to take place. But there's behind the closed doors mentality in that form. Okay, so one of these as it says, one of these is the expectation of instant gratification, meaning people wanting to gain something, get something, and be gratified, whereby few people are prepared to wait, meaning not be patient, or work hard, or suffer temporary hardship. Most people don't want this. They want to go past all of that. They don't want to have to do with it. To get results, of course. They want to do everything that's easy, especially the young people. Rush to be satisfied, rush for satisfaction and being gratified in their pursuit of their desires, or whatever they desire. People see a world of wealth and power depicted on TV and in the movies, which is true. I've been living in this country of America all my life, one of the most westernized countries and, secular countries, and this has been always the thing that I've, experienced since I was young and little, raised up, in such of a society. And they want it, of course, like what's in the movies, the people want it, and they want it now. Immediate satisfaction is expected in this world. So how much harder must it be for such people who think in terms of preparing themselves for the hereafter? And those are the believers that believe in Allah, believe in God, and that there is going to be a hereafter. Not the atheists, not the agnostic, or even some of the people who claim to believe in God that are from Christian, Jewish, or Islam even, unfortunately with the Muslims, which they have weak belief and they don't establish their beliefs in their actions in their everyday life. The other major idea promoted by Western influences is the cult of Superman, or superhuman beings. Here, too, TV and movies must take much of the blame for filling people's minds with the notion that the stronger and wealthier you are, the freer you are to do what you like, regardless of the consequences. Or those who fall under the rulership of the country, the government, they feel that they are untouchable and they are above the law, like as we've been seeing, unfortunately, with the police. And they're some of the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to the government is concerned, as far as civil service servants and so forth. The idea of the survival of the fittest is used to justify destroying the weak. In their quest for independence and superiority, the godless are turning this world into a living hell where competition and conflict prevail. And this is true. You see this all over the world. Crime is on the increase as religion and morality are no longer deterrent forces. They don't care. People don't care about belief in Allah, God, and religion. And a sense of fear and insecurity is spreading in this wake. And this is why, this video I'm trying to speak and bring, maybe that can help those who have a problem and are afraid and have a sense of fear and insecurity in these times. Mental illness and psychological disorders are a further symptom of the malaise caused by negative Western influences. The Islamic way is in sharp contrast to the current trends of the West. Our Creator knows best the makeup of the human psyche, and the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah is in perfect harmony with human nature. Now, the Quran is the book of the Muslims that the Prophet was of Islam. The Prophet of Islam received, and it was a revelation, a book of revelations, and it is standing today as well as the times that he had received it. And the Sunnah is his way and his life of how he implemented and lived upon what the words of Allah, which is the Quran, were given to him, and he taught the people how to live. And so his way is called the Sunnah, okay, in Arabic, and his statements. So it's in perfect harmony with human nature. The guidance of Allah and the path and the way and implementation and actions of the Prophet and his companions and those people who followed behind him with pure, pure, understanding, not deviated understandings, as it came to be, unfortunately, today with different Muslim groups that have gone away from the original paths of the Quran and the Sunnah according to Allah's Messenger, Prophet Muhammad, and his companions, and those two other generations that preceded them, with the knowledge that was clear and with authentic substance. So for nothing is Islam known as Deen al-Fitr, the life transaction of the natural state of man. Muslim scholars and scientists developed an extensive and deep knowledge of human behavior and psychology, which was firmly rooted in the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah. Okay, so what pretty much just to put on within the commentary, the translator, which his name happens to be Nazuruddin al-Katab, he was pretty much trying to let the people know that what we perceive in the West to be the way of how we should gain or be happy and all like this, and the pursuit of happiness, is not in the line or in the way of true patience and gratitude. And this is where this book, of course, by the likes of the Sheikh Ibn Jawziyyah, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah, brought, and his benefits from this book, which I'm going to speak points on. I'm going to go in further and try to hit some more points for you, and then I'm going to go into close out on this first video, and then try to go on with the rest in the other two videos or so. So, self-gratification. Islam channels us into seeking perfection for the sake of Allah, and teaches us to seek His help in doing so. So, when we're trying to get gratification, self-gratification, we in Islam only see it from Allah's, hand and Allah's will and what Allah gives to us. We don't perceive it to, we're just getting it all by ourselves. And then after that, we're happy for what we did and that we gained it. And it's like, we really didn't have control over it, which we kind of like actually are fooling ourselves, because we could have missed that bus to get to work and then get that job, and or you could have left your resume home, or you could have got lost and got to the interview late, not getting that job, ended up not getting the job, even though you think because you got the job it was because of you. No, it's not all because of you. Or you was going to get married and you never get married for whatever reason it could be. We always think that we have some control in this type of society, that we can do things, and we could, there's no such thing as saying inshallah from the non-Muslims, and of course even Muslims that forget what they're supposed to say, to know that Allah wills these things. Inshallah means by Allah's will. So there's none of that in most of the minds of a Western mind, Western thinker, a person raised up in the West without Islamic understanding and guidance. They gonna go ahead and say, well, I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna do that, and then when they can't do it, they become depressed and disappointed, and depression sets in, as to put it in order, because that's how it usually goes. And this is for the sake of Allah that we're trying to seek this perfection and get this good anyway, and teaches us to seek His help in doing so. So we go to Allah for it, and we ask Allah in prayer while we worship regularly. But besides, outside of the regular worship, which is it's all considered worship. Any prayer when you're praying to Allah is worship. But there's the obligatory way of worshiping that we do 5 times a day, and then there's the other worship, supererogatory, or that we choose to do on our own, if we can't, to our own choice. Allah says that we can, pray to Him anytime. So we pray to Him for things that we need, So as it goes on, thus we have important Islamic ideals such as Ubaidiyya, being a true slave of Allah. Ubaidiyya is meaning you're a true slave of Allah, a person who submits to Allah and worships Allah and lives their life serving Allah, meaning pleasing Him, which puts a person in touch with the highest power in this universe. The power of Allah, tawakkul, putting one's trust in Allah. And I was speaking about this one time, and I read a book they have another book that speaks on tawakkul. Tawakkul is very important for Muslims, that this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put our trust in Allah, and then go after the things that we trying to strive. But also within trust, it's not just saying, okay, I believe in Allah and I think He's going to do for me and get things done for me. No, you have to worship Him. You have to pray to Him. You have to ask Him for what you're striving for, and then going after it. But of course, if you are a believer of Allah and you're a pious person, a righteous person, you're not going to ask, oh, I want to get that woman in just for sexual reasons, or you're not going to want to be getting the opposite of man for sexual only, or you want to get that money so you can go out and live lavishly and travel the world, and or you know, be praised by people. No, if you're on that path, you can't expect that Allah is going to give it to you, because Allah, He's going to give you only what's going to be for you that's good. It's only going to be for you that's good. That's why when people don't get certain things, they don't understand. Some of those things they might be striving to get. First of all, they don't have patience for it. They don't put tawakkul in Allah, none of that. So they're just going after it, and they don't even know that that thing is not good for them. Like, you know, some people think that smoking marijuana is good. Look at what's going on today. A lot of, you know, the hoopla about, you know, legalizing it. I know back in the past, I know about that thing, about that thing that comes from the earth, and the Rastas used to say this is a holy sacrament, and all like this. Even myself, I was Rasta at one point, but I learned as time went on that this thing is intoxicating, is an intoxicating substance, and within, of course, the chemical that's within it, the organic chemical called THC, and it's no good for your system, mainly the brain. You understand? Certain things it might have some benefits, but it also has some negative things to it that it can harm you. So those people think that, okay, you know, I'm going to grow me a nice patch, and I'm going to be happy and at ease because it helps ease you and all this type of stuff. But really, it paints that image, or it fakes your body out with that chemical, because your brain at the same time is being, the cells are being destroyed, you know. So of course the body is going into a state of like suppression, you know. It's a suppressant. That's what it's calming you down and then like this mellowing out, because it's killing stuff. So it's weakening out the cells and the things that are needed to make you be clear-minded and be, you know, bright. And as far as when it comes to your thinking. No, but instead it kind of suppresses it. So if you don't know and understand about this thing, and you don't, you know, follow in belief in your Lord, who establishes, He says out of the Quran that it's not good for you. Anything that intoxicates you and takes you away from your natural state of mental thinking or mental being is not good for you. But if you don't follow your faith and practice it, which is Islam, and if you're not a Muslim, that you come to practice it and become a Muslim, then you're going to be going through the stuff that a lot of people go through, the ups and downs. Like they showed recently in Facebook, this girl was in the hospital because she was smoking marijuana, and the marijuana was tainted even more, which helped it even worse, of her going into her I guess she was in a comatose state over it, you know. But that's just one point. But I'm going to go off and try to go to the next video so I can have some space in between these videos and not, you know, lose the time that I need to have to upload them. Okay, so inshallah, I hope that you followed this and whatever little bit that I spoke on, and then what I read from the Sheikh's book and from the translator that has, you know, given you some understanding on this subject matter, which is patience and gratitude. And I'm going to just go into the other videos with more in depth of the points that are taken, that will be taken out of the book from the Sheikh, from the scholar of Islam, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyah, rahimullah. Okay, thank you very much for listening. And this is Brother Taalib Abdur Rahim Pugh, aka Theodore Pugh, over and out. Subhanakallah hamdihi, ashhadu an la ilaha anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.